All right, to this conversation now. The world's largest mining company, BHP Group, has made a takeover approach for rival Anglo American. Now, this is a move that has been seen by some as one that could shake up the industry, especially looking at what this could mean. But is it a good move for the country? Let's speak to mining expert and modern corporate solutions director, Peter Major. Mr. Major, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. What questions does this raise for you?
Well, it raises who's going to be the South African champion. Anglo American was the first real, genuine South African mining company, started in 1917. And that money to get it going came from overseas, just like all of our other mines needed money from overseas. But this was a true South African champion. At its peak, it had 1 million employees. Those are people with good jobs, good benefits, a future, medical, dental, housing. Now, we've lost a lot of that. We haven't treated the mining champion of the country like we should have if we wanted to continue growing, adding jobs. But still, Anglo American still is our big mining giant here. And there's nobody else to even come close to it. So that alone is enough reason we should do what we can to keep it intact as much as possible.
I'm going to get to what the president's had to say about it in just a moment, but I want to tail on something that you just said as well. So what does it say then about the business environment in the country?
It's terribly difficult. There's over 220 countries in the world, and we are definitely in the bottom 5%. My brother's done 2 transactions in North Korea. I got friends that have done transactions in Afghanistan. Those are not easy places to do business in. And yet none of them will consider doing business here because there's so little chance of not even getting a return on your money. There's so little chance of even getting your original money back. And we've gone out of our way to make that so the last 20 years. Every year we make more regulations and policies that make it more difficult to get money in the country, to get a mine taken over, and impossible to get a brand new mine starting from scratch.
So the presidency, saying that yesterday some analysts and sections of the media are portraying this market activity as a vote of no confidence in South Africa, and they say that this does not equal a hostile environment for investors.
Well, the facts speak everything. When I came here in the 80s, the gold mines alone employed 570,000 men. The gold mines alone, there were 60 gold mines listed. What do we got today? 80,000 men in the gold mines? 6, 7 listed companies? How about the number of shafts? The numbers tell the truth. I'm not trying to be subjective here. People have to open their eyes. This didn't happen overnight. It's progressively been happening more and more every year. Everybody knows it. There's no secrets here.
And what impact is this likely to have on investors that are watching this particular development? Because, when you listen to yesterday, what the president had to say is that they're talking about the investment conference. They say that about 1.5 trillion in investment pledges has been pledged. But you look at the fact that there are rolling blackouts. There's quite a lot that is currently happening in the country. What then does an investor who's watching this particular picture then derive from all of this?
How about this? Nothing breeds success like success. Look at the casinos. Most people lose money on casinos. So what do? They advertise the people who do make money. It's probably less than 1/10, 1 out of 10, but it works. Can you imagine if we were advertising how many foreign investors came here and made money? How many new mines started and made the shareholders rich? That's what this government should concentrate on. That will bring in foreign money. When we have many real-life examples, look at these 3 countries, these 3 investors. Look how much money they made. Look how quickly they made it. Instead, we have announcements like Bushveld Vanadium. We're the largest vanadium producer in the world. We have the most vanadium known. And they're staring down an abyss. The Competition Commission is taking 4 months to decide if they can do something so they can get a little bit more foreign money to keep going. We've got everything totally backwards here.
So what impact is this going to have, particularly on the economy? You think about the fact that we cannot afford to be losing more jobs, but what does it mean then at a practical level for the economy?
We need a big champion similar to Anglo American. Now, we no longer just have South African Anglo American. The main company is listed in London. But if we could capitalize Anglo American South Africa, make it a champion again, turn it around so that it has the confidence and the ability to attract money, open minds, expand minds, beneficiate. That's what we need to do. And if this hostile bid goes, then you've got Kumba Iron Ore on its own, Anglo American Platinum on its own. There's no big brother to help them. And minerals are cyclical. That's why Anglo American had many minerals, even getting into industrials, even getting into financials. It helped them fund when they needed the money. If gold goes up, maybe diamonds are down and vice versa. So you need diversification. And Exxaro and ARM aren't fulfilling the bill. We need Anglos or the equivalent.
So then, in the absence of a big brother, let's say that this deal does in fact go through and we do not then have a big brother, what then becomes another option to then be able to make sure that whatever picture that we're putting out there to the world remains intact?
Without that big option, we're going into desperation. And desperation is scary, and it's not a long-term strategy, because it means you're going to pay money to borrow money when you need money. It means you're not going to have the money or the ability to sink a new shaft, open a new mine. You're just going to keep your mine ticking over. So you're going to mine out the high-grade reserves you got. It means you're not putting something away for the future, for your children. And that's what's going to happen. If we don't have big champions here, we used to have 7, 8 large champions, and we've gone out of our way to drive them away and dismember them. So, yeah, we're going to fall back on desperation, and things are going to get worse. So we've got to change policy quick here, real quick.
Certainly worrying to hear all of that. But thank you so much, Peter, for your time. And let's see then what happens with this particular deal and whether it does go through. And when it does, what then happens and what is done at a policy level in order to be able to address some of the concerns that have been raised. But that's mining expert and modern corporate solutions director, Peter Major.